reminded me of a friend who the way he would talk about sex, it was very try not to get canceled by my male audience here. Is very like egotistical, right? It was very like, yeah, Terrain, I do this position and
Right.
I'm hitting it hard, I'm hitting it hard, right? And what I would ask him, I was like, so your nickname's like the jackhammer. You're just pounding away. You don't really care. You're destroying the ground around you. The neighbors are calling for noise pollution, all this nonsense, right? And when for me, after I spoke to you, I spoke to a few other people in the industry, and what I learned is that sex is not about ego. I learned that there's things that I need to understand, listen, and convey, and my partner has to do the same thing. As a man who maybe for a while took pleasure in maybe saying that I had Mangala last night and she was screaming and she was making all these sounds, I'm the man. I'm walking around the house with my chest out, still naked because you're my conquest, right? But it's a lot more than that because you can enjoy or you can feel that you've done the best thing possible, but your partner didn't enjoy it,
Totally.
right? And I think a lot of times women will endure, for lack of a better word, because
Hmm.
they don't want to be seen as, oh, you know what? He's going to say that I was just laying there. I'm just lazy. I'm not good in bed. Are these some of the mindsets that you deal with when it comes to the women who you speak with?
Absolutely. I love what you say about sex not being about ego. And that is, and I think that works both sides. But like there's a whole thing. A lot of the women I work with will tell me that, they're having sex with their husband or their partner because they're scared that they're going to leave them otherwise. And they're just going through the motions in order to keep them happy. And they're not really enjoying what's happening. They're just putting up with it. It doesn't really satisfy them. And there's so much resentment built underneath. And it's because they're not communicating. And communication is so, so, so key. And it's like if we can educate people to have those really, the challenging conversations about, hey, this we've been doing the same thing for a long time. Can we mix it up? Can we try something different? Can we get creative? And a bit more honesty as well. I think it would serve everybody. And as you say about the jackhammer, I mean, I think there is a lot of men, unfortunately, have been socially conditioned that that's how they're supposed to be, and that it's a very performative thing. And and what this is a massive generalization, but what most partners want is just presence and to know that the partner is really connected with them and paying attention, and that they are responsive and sensitive to what's happening in the moment, rather than stamina, rather than getting the moves right, rather than being in the right position or any of that stuff or performing. It's about really just being in the honesty and the presence of what's really happening in the moment and responding to it. That is what, in my experience, that's what makes a good lover. Yeah.
I think sometimes, to your point, it'll be kind of scary because what if you were to tell someone that I don't like this, and
Yes.
then you see a decrease in the amount of sex that you have,
Yeah.
then you have a decision. Do
Yeah.
I continue this position even though it doesn't fulfill me in the way that I want to, or I don't do it and therefore my partner strays away and potentially they may do that with someone else, right?
Absolutely. And not just that, but there is also, if you're with someone that perhaps is a new partner or someone you've hooked up with, sometimes there is a feeling like you've got to go through with it because that person might get violent. The safety thing is a real thing. So I do want to highlight that as well. But this is something I work with my clients on about, how can we give feedback that is empowering and encouraging and uplifting and not emasculating men. If we're talking about heterosexual relationships, we don't want to make our partners feel rejected or deflated, because that's just going to destroy the dynamic completely. So what works really well is to tell people what they're doing that works really well. So something's, if you're enjoying something, let your partner know, communicate it, make it really obvious. And this is where sound, movement, breath, all of these things, it's like, yes, this is awesome. Stay right here. Don't change a thing. Those kind of things. Or if it's afterwards, in a bit of a, if you're having a chat afterwards, it's like, I really loved it when you did this. And like really giving them guidance as to what is working works much better than I don't like this doesn't work, I don't like it when you do this, so that can be really, really helpful. Yeah.
To this day, I find the conversation a little awkward, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily from me, from the other person, because I may say something along the lines, I really like how you did this. And you can tell in their facial expression, they've never received a compliment
Yeah.
in the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
And then you have another situation where you say, okay, can you do more of this? And they're kind of hesitant because maybe there's like a trigger where someone said, hey, you're not good at oral sex. You're not
Mm-hmm.
good at this. You're not as creative. So, how would we walk the fine line between giving feedback that is constructive but very positive, very like, yeah, you're the champ, you're the best at this, or whatever words you want to use, versus it coming across as you're not good enough, do more, learn more,
Mm-hmm.
be better.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this can really touch on people's insecurities, whether it's, as you say, whether it's from a partner saying something previously that's not their confidence, or whether it's just like, oh, nobody's ever given me feedback on this. I don't know if I don't feel that confident in doing this to my partner, and I've no idea if it's good enough. And what if it's not? What if I'm not as good as his previous girlfriend, and all of this kind of stuff. And so I think this is where like really slowing down communication in the moment can be really good. It's like and making that a real two-way conversation. How does that feel? Would you like more pressure? Is there anything I can do to like that will make you enjoy this even more right now? Um, these kind of things can be really helpful.